A few years ago, one AI engineer joined a defense technology project, believing he was helping build something that could protect people. The idea sounded simple. An AI system would study huge amounts of information and help intelligence teams detect threats faster than humans ever could. Instead of analysts spending days going through reports, the system could scan everything in minutes and highlight anything unusual. If threats could be spotted earlier, attacks might be stopped before they even happened. At first, the engineer felt proud to be part of the project, but as the system grew bigger and more powerful, he slowly began to understand something important. The reason the US military wants AI so badly is not only about detecting threats, it is about speed, control of information, and the ability to watch patterns across the entire world. The engineer had always loved computers. In college, he spent years learning how AI systems work and how programs can recognize patterns inside huge amounts of data. He built small projects that could recognize images, detect patterns, and predict behavior based on information. After graduating, he worked at a technology company building AI tools that helped companies detect fraud and unusual activity. These systems looked through large amounts of data and highlighted anything that looked suspicious. A few years later, he was contacted by recruiters connected to a defense contractor working with the US military. They were building a new AI system that could study global intelligence data. The system would help analysts understand what was happening around the world much faster. The engineer accepted the offer. The idea of building technology that might prevent attacks felt meaningful. If the system worked well, it could help intelligence teams detect threats before they became dangerous. When he arrived at the research facility where the project was being developed, he immediately realized how big the system was. The AI system was designed to combine many different sources of information: satellite pictures from space, drone videos from surveillance flights, communication records, travel history, financial activity, public information from the internet. All of this information would be studied by one AI system. Normally, intelligence teams would have to examine these sources one by one. That process could take days or weeks. The AI system could study everything together and look for patterns across the data. If several people traveled between the same cities, communicated often, and appeared near important locations, the system would flag the pattern so analysts could investigate further. During the first demonstrations, the system looked extremely powerful. The engineer watched the AI scan huge amounts of information and display clusters of activity on digital maps. Each signal represented a connection between people, locations, or events that the AI believed might be important. For a while, the engineer felt impressed by the system they were building. It seemed like the kind of technology that could help intelligence teams discover hidden threats that humans might never notice. But after a few weeks of testing, he began to notice something that made him uncomfortable. One day, the system flagged a group of people as suspicious because they had traveled between several cities and communicated often. When the engineer looked deeper into the data, the explanation was simple. They were college students traveling home for the holidays while staying in contact with friends and family. The AI had simply found a pattern that looked unusual. When he showed this example to intelligence analysts, they explained that this was normal. The AI was not supposed to decide who was guilty. Its job was only to highlight patterns that might deserve attention. Human analysts would still examine the alerts and decide whether they actually represented a threat. The explanation made sense, but it also revealed something important. The AI system was quietly deciding where analysts should look first. Over the next several months, the system grew much more powerful. More data sources were connected to it. Security camera feeds from cities were added. Satellite images were included. Communication networks and financial activity became part of the analysis. The AI could now watch patterns across different countries at the same time. Every day, the system produced hundreds of alerts. Each alert represented a person whose behavior matched patterns the AI had been trained to detect. Many of those people had done nothing wrong. They were travelers, engineers, journalists, or students whose normal activity simply looked unusual when studied by a computer system. That was when the engineer began to understand why the military was investing so heavily in artificial intelligence. Modern military power is no longer only about weapons like aircraft, ships, or missiles. Information has become just as important. Knowing what someone might do before they act can give a country a huge advantage. Artificial intelligence makes this possible because it can study enormous amounts of information very quickly. Satellite systems produce millions of images every day. Communication networks generate huge amounts of records. Travel systems record movement across borders and cities. No human team could study all of this information fast enough. AI systems can. The system the engineer helped build could look at these different sources of information together and search for patterns. It could detect unusual construction near military bases. It could notice when travel behavior suddenly changed. It could identify communication networks connecting people across different countries. For the military, this ability is extremely valuable. Another reason the military wants AI so badly is speed. In modern conflicts, decisions often need to be made very quickly. Waiting hours or days for analysts to study information can slow down important actions. AI systems can process new information almost instantly and highlight possible risks. Instead of waiting for humans to discover connections, the system shows those connections immediately. During one meeting the engineer attended, officials explained how the system might be used in the future. The AI would not only detect patterns in information, it could also recommend actions. For example, it might suggest which locations needed additional drone surveillance. It might highlight areas where unusual activity suggested possible security risks. Intelligence teams could use those suggestions to decide where to focus their attention. The officials explained that humans would still make the final decisions. The AI would only provide suggestions based on the patterns it detected. But the engineer understood something important. When a computer system presents recommendations supported by large amounts of data, people often trust those recommendations. Over time, the system could quietly influence the decisions humans make. One evening, the engineer stayed late reviewing the alerts generated by the system. Hundreds of signals appeared across the digital map again. Each signal represented a person whose activity had triggered the system's attention. Most of those people would never know their information had been studied. At that moment, the engineer realized something important. The real power of AI was not only about detecting threats, it was about visibility. AI allowed intelligence agencies to watch patterns across huge numbers of people at the same time. After many months of working on the project, the engineer began to question whether the technology was growing faster than the rules meant to control it. Artificial intelligence itself was not dangerous. It was simply a tool created by humans. But tools that study global information at enormous scale raise difficult questions. How much surveillance should exist in the name of security? How much influence should computer systems have over decisions that affect real lives? Eventually, the engineer decided to leave the project. The system he helped build was legal and officially approved. But he believed the technology was becoming powerful faster than people understood. Artificial intelligence is now becoming one of the most important tools in modern military systems. Governments want AI because it can study huge amounts of information, detect patterns faster than humans, and help intelligence teams respond quickly in dangerous situations. The technology offers real advantages in protecting national security, but it also creates new questions about surveillance, privacy, and how much power humans should give to the systems they build. The world is entering a time where artificial intelligence will shape how governments understand global events. And that is exactly why the US military wants AI so badly. If you want to know how one laptop could expose Epstein's entire network, watch this video, The Laptop That Could Expose Epstein's Network.